Thanks so much for joining us. Let's go straight to our very first story. Well, over the weekend, 200 lives were lost in Yelewata alone, with families wiped out and buried in shallow graves. Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected in Benue State today, which happens to be a Wednesday, his first visit since the bloodshed actually began.
Now, the planned visit of the president comes after lots of criticism over the delayed response to the attacks. Many say the visit is overdue, while others say they see it as a chance, perhaps the last, to show that leadership still listens. But for the people of Benue, this isn't about politics, it's about survival. And so joining us to discuss this is founder, Sesor Empowerment Foundation and Convener, Middle Belt Concern, Ier Jonathan-Ichaver. Ier, a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for being here. I mean, you are a resident and also, a resident and indigent of Benue. So more than ever, at this time, our heart goes out to you, and to everyone who is in Benue at this time. You are there now in Benue. Let me ask you, what's it been like, with your work, looking at the displaced camp? What's going on? Talk to me.
Okay, so basically, we're just tired, traumatized, it's just tired. These attacks have been going on since 2001. The first IDP camp was opened in Upiam in 2001. So we had a complete series of government failures, whether it's PDP, APC, or whatever letter. These have been going on, and they've only ramped up. I have been working on this issue for the last 11 years. And so it has gotten progressively worse with each administration. Of course, when the APC came in 2015, it went haywire. We remember there were mass burials, mass killings. We have a lot of them underreported. And then with this new administration that came on, when President Tinubu and Governor Alia came on in 2023, we had hoped we would see an end to these things. And instead, what happened was the attacks continued. In 2023 alone, we had 120 attacks in Benue that we counted with our partners. In 2024, we had 128. And now in 2025, we've had 45 attacks. And basically, you can see the number of people who have been dead. It is over 1,100. I have the figures. This year alone, 471 people have been killed. The Yelewata massacre is one of many. And this one got attention, a lot of attention, because it is right on the road between Lafia. To enter Makurdi from Abuja, Yelewata is right there. It's about, I think, 30 kilometers from Makurdi, or less than that. One, it's smack on the expressway. Two, we've had media blackouts. These are severely underreported. And this is where we have questions. They're severely underreported. The state media does not report them. International media doesn't report. National media does not report. In the last few months, we've had media houses coming out more and more. And even at that, we've had a governor who has consistently seemed to be in denial and seems to try to downplay the seriousness of these issues for reasons best known to him. Now, the people are tired, they're discouraged. You have many populations living in settlements, host communities, IDP camps. We went to IDP camp in the international market on Monday, where they moved the people from Yelewata, those who were displaced. And they were just all over the place. They have over 2,000 people. In fact, one of our partners estimated it was about 6,000, more like it. And you could see that there was no clear preparation for them by the state. So there is that. So there's constant hunger. The people are not able to farm anymore. These terrorist headsmen, and that is what it is, terrorism, it is genocide. Somehow, I don't know how the Nigerian government has succeeded in getting the media to keep reporting them as bandits and unknown gunmen. This is ridiculous. These are terrorists. You saw what they did in Yelewata. These are the things they've been doing. They did this in Awasi on December 25th, 2024. It was underreported, it was downplayed. The state governor did not even go there. And I guess even till now, our state governor, this Yelewata, he only went there for the first time yesterday. This is not far from his government house. The Taraku that I went to Taraku yesterday to visit some displaced people that have been displaced from a place called Aondana, which is, Taraku is about, again, it's about 30 kilometers from Makurdi. And this Aondana actually, by the way, is the village of the Catholic bishop, the bishop of Catholic Makurdi diocese. So that's Bishop Anagbe, who raised the alarm some weeks ago about this terrorism and this attempt to wipe out people in Benue and take over their lands. So the situation is dire, and our governor is in denial. Our president, they have basically failed in their duty, which is the primary purpose of government, to secure the lives of citizens and ensure their welfare. So the mood, honestly, is grim. There is a lot of hunger. Having said that, the people are also very faithful. They believe that they will eventually be vindicated and that they will overcome, because they have been resilient. They've stayed the course. They've lost and buried so many people. Some of them, we have some of the names. Some of them have been killed in the bushes. You go to recover the bodies, they will even kill the security agents that go, and so on and so forth. So it's really, really challenging. Now, let me add that Nigerians have been very responsive. They've been sending in relief materials. And so the Nigerian people are with the people of Benue. But I will add that this is not just a threat to Benue. So this is not just about Benue. Benue and Plateau happen to be the epicenter. As I mentioned, I work with Middle Belt Concern. In our work, we've seen this ramping up across the Middle Belt. This is our food producing region. So basically, this is a war strategy being devised by these terrorists in connivance with certain people in our government, because I do not understand how attacks can happen. Since this thing has happened, have you heard that they're investigating who came in? Have you heard that they're investigating who funded it? Instead, we're just having smokes and mirrors, all kinds of conversations. Oh, it is this one, the girl, this. What is the National Security Advisor? What are our security agents? What is the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces doing to get the people who are behind these people who come with so many weapons? So we need to understand these attacks are happening. We're having them in Enugu, we're having them in Edo, we're having them across the country. And if I would not even be surprised, I dare say, these terrorists are banding up Boko Haram, Lakurawa, Mahmuda, and infiltrating our cities and our states. So it is not just a Benue issue. If they get Benue, they get the Middle Belt. Nigeria, as we know it, is gone. So I am sounding the alarm. This is not the time to be saying, oh, is ABC, this and that. What is the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, doing? He was here a few weeks ago. 2 weeks ago or so, after Bagiri, we were told that the Chief of Army Staff was going to come, or was it even last week, that he's going to come and relocate to Benue. He came, spent maybe 2 days here, and went up back to Abuja. Now, the president himself has said that he's giving these instructions, they are not followed. So you're the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. If your instructions are not being followed, will you not see that, one, they're sabotaging your security efforts, sabotaging your administration, and should you not make sure you relieve those heads of the security agencies, starting with the National Security Advisor himself, and make sure you investigate them for alleged complicity, because we do not understand. The defense budget has been the biggest it has ever been. What is happening with that money? How come in this age of the 21st century, people can come on motorcycles, drive all the way down, whether within the bushes, between Lafia, or wherever they came from, into Yelewata, come and kill people, attack, do this thing, operate for 3 hours unstopped. 3 hours. Meanwhile, there's Army Division, the 72nd Division, not too far away, maybe another 10 kilometers from Yelewata. What is going on? That same Sunday, as we were mourning and still screaming and crying, this same group, or whoever they were, attacked near the Air Force base here in Makurdi, a place called Abua, between Makurdi and Boko. So my question is, what is going on? This is a genocide, and it's not just going to stop with Benue. It will spread. I'm not trying to be a monger fear. Those of us who are in farming communities, we know what is happening. As far as Kwara North is involved, we're seeing these attacks, even in the Southwest, and we're downplaying this thing. Meanwhile, it is an existential threat for Nigeria. Okay. So this is not just about Benue. Benue right now happens to be the hot spot.
Okay.
We don't want a situation we just have dialogue.
Yeah.
President will come and do his own, whatever.
All right.
They must.
I mean, you said a whole lot in your conversation with us. Just starting off, you've highlighted why the governor, you don't understand what the governor is doing, because even some security experts have asked the question that this is a subnational issue, and it's only expected that the governor would do all he can. And you also highlighted a very sad reality that the governor only went to Yelewata just yesterday, since the news broke. So it also took him a longer time before he could go there. I want to ask you, Nigerians have continued to question government's priorities amidst economy and security challenges. Do you think that the current administration, the government, is prioritizing political crisis resolution over the current matters that affects the people? I mean, that's one question I would love to ask Ier when she's able to join back. I do understand that her network is not too stable. Hopefully she returns, but she's made some very key points. Yes. And being one who has worked with different IDP camps, right. She's been there, she's worked with these people, helped them out of their misery, as it were, one way or the other, to ensure that they are able to find their feet again after these incessant attacks. And she highlighted a very key thing, which is what we've highlighted here yesterday on the show. Mm-hmm. If the president or the current administration deems it fit, you know, to put a state of emergency in River State to protect Nigeria's oil and gas, a powerhouse, then this is the food basket as well. Mm-hmm. If there's no food and there's oil, which one will trigger the society the most? Do we have Ier back? If we do, are you there with us? Are you back with us?
Yes, I'm back.
All right, great. I'm sure the network. I'm sure the network would allow us to continue our conversation. I wanted to ask you: do you think the current administration is prioritizing political, fights? It's focused on politics rather than focus on caring for the needs of citizens, especially looking at what's going on in Benue State?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's very clear. While these things have been going on, we had Bagi, we had Awasi, we've had in various states, we've had Plateau. Our president has not seen fit to go there. Here in Benue, our governor hardly shows up at these places. We've not seen him visit an IDP camp, right? So instead, what we've seen are billboards. They're all over the nation. You enter Abuja, between Abuja and town, 2027, door to door, PBAT, Lagos, same thing. Meanwhile, you're in mission in mourning. And our president is busy giving condolences to other countries, whether it's India, whatever. Meanwhile, we're not seeing him on site or serious action being taken to stop these killings. So they absolutely, they're prioritizing politicking over the lives of the people. And this is all across Nigeria. We're talking Middle Belt, we're talking Southwest, we're talking Southeast. So this is clear to us as Nigerians, and we are beginning to see the character of the people we have in leadership, that they do not seem to care about the Nigerian people. They give priority over their politicizing. Well, I mean, at this point in time, instead of governing and doing your number one job according to Section 14(2)(b) of the Constitution, you are busy politicking all over the place and talking 2027 and saying 2020. I mean, that is ridiculous. What good is it to you if terrorists take over your land? God forbid they enter Aso Rock and take you over. Again, I am still saying it. The president must look into the National Security Advisor's Office. What are they doing there? And the chiefs of security. And Governor Alia, I am saying it, we do not understand why Governor Alia is dilly-dallying. He is not coming out and standing by his people. He's wishy-washy here and there. Yesterday, he was on an interview, being asked difficult questions, started saying he couldn't hear, and so on and so forth. If you can't hear, why don't you call a press conference? Why don't you call for help? And how are you using security votes? So we are extremely disappointed with Governor Alia's administration, and we are especially given where his background, and we're absolutely shocked at the failings, at his dilly-dallying, at his lack of care, his lack of compassion. When this thing happened on Friday night into Saturday, the people went out to protest, and they came out with police, with all kinds of, they were even shooting at the protesters. Where were these policemen with their tear gas and whatever it was, the night Yelewata was being attacked? We hear, for example, even at the federal level, by this time they should have deployed. That very night they were attacking. By this time they should have gone after. Where's the investigation? In this day, no drones, nothing. What are we doing with these trillions being voted for security? Or are they being diverted towards 2027? This is the question. And these are the questions we are demanding from our president, from the National Security Advisor, from our security agencies, and from Governor Alia. We have had enough. We have had enough.
Now, as we're putting, Governor Alia on the table here, let's also talk about this holistically from a national point of view. Joe here has just really pointed out that, critics have said that the issue in the Middle Belt is a sub-national issue. And you also did point out that, the chief of the Nigerian Defense Staff did reside in Makurdi for a while and then left, and then this attacks happened. And so we have to talk about the synergy within the national, on the national level, the state level, plus the security agencies. Where are the gaps? You are there, you are working with the displaced people, you're working with the people on ground, grassroots. So I think you are the best to tell us, where are the gaps that is missing? What are we not seeing from, from this point of view?
Well, I'll speak as a person who's working with the displaced, and as someone who has been in this thing for a long time, responding to these to the humanitarian needs. I'll give you an example. I think it was yesterday your reporter went to Yelewata, and he was saying that they cannot identify some of the killed people. The bones are still there. In all of this that has been happening, have you seen investigators come on that scene to even try and determine what happened? Have you seen security agencies seriously interviewing the eyewitnesses to say this, when did they come, what happened? And so, no, it is basically instead the citizens that are giving up this information. We've not seen anything of that nature. That is one. So there are serious investigative intelligence gaps here. So again, we ask, what are they doing with all this money? These are repeated attacks. They follow the same pattern. They come through the bushes. They've been kidnapping people. They'll take them away. These are things that they're supposed to be investigated, right? Have you heard the police investigate? We've not heard. We've not heard that but when it is time to find innocent protesters who are simply protesting for their right to live as citizens properly in Nigeria, that's when they will know how to trace your phone, to do drone whatever, to go and pick you up from your house in the middle of the night. How come? Look at where Benue is. Look at where Plateau. We're smack in the center of the country. So how come even sometimes they'll tell you it's foreigners and so on and so forth. Even Governor Alia has said it's foreigners. So how come you're not able to arrest those foreigners? Governor Alia keeps saying, oh, it's some politicians that are doing A, B, and C. So name those politicians, and the security agencies should investigate. Because this is not about this. Now, let me shake the table here, right? There are allegations in Benue State that cattle breeding interest partially funded Governor Alia's campaign. These are rumors we keep hearing. We don't have proof, and we're calling on Governor Alia to come out and tell us, where do his interests lie? Because this has gotten too much. These are human beings. These are lives that people created in the image of God. He is a former priest, suspended, by the way, from the Catholic Church. But he should remember his calling. Where do his loyalties lie? So we're not seeing investigations. We're not seeing any concerted effort. Your people have been displaced. We have not seen you visit IDP camps. We've not seen you go to ground zero until IDP came yesterday. Now you're saying that the people, of course, I'm sure you'll come to that, about self-defense and so on and so forth. When you leave the people no choice, why are you there, governor and president, collecting taxes if you cannot protect the people? What then gives you the right to govern the people and to claim constituted authority when you cannot protect the people? So we need to hear what is going on. Governor Alia, you need to come out and tell your Benue people and tell the people of Nigeria, because you have a responsibility. Because of these attacks, food insecurity, now we should all know this is why the cost of food is so high. It's affecting everybody in Nigeria. So this is not just about Benue or the Middle Belt. We're all in this thing together. And I will say it again. If Benue and the Middle Belt fall to these terrorists, Nigeria will fall. Life as we know it will not stay. So we need to hold our governors and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to a higher standard.
Yeah, the president is
campaigning for 2027.
Right.
Let us be alive first before we start talking 2027.
The president is coming into the state today. We've seen the press release. We saw the letter. We're not going to get into all of that, but we do know that the president will be coming in to Makurdi today. That is for certain. What do you expect from his visit?
I expect, first and foremost, no politicking. I expect, even though it is late in the day, the governor or the administration of Benue State called a public holiday, a work-free day today. This thing happened Friday night. They've not seen fit to declare days of mourning. So we expect the president to show leadership, first and foremost, by announcing that he's going to change our security agency head and even the National Security Advisor, because they failed. NSA came here, Chief of Army Staff came here, and instead we're getting more killings. So what on earth is going on? One, we expect that he will deploy the best investigators to get to the heart of the people who are behind this thing. Not just the foot soldiers. Who are the people funding this? They come with all kinds of weapons. You saw what your reporter said. They have all kinds of sophisticated weapons. And we expect him to address, even the commissioner of police, why are people protesting? And you're sending people, they were protesting peacefully. You now send people to go and start tear gassing them and to shoot. So we expect some serious change here and sobriety. And we also expect him to engage across the spectrum. We expect that he will listen to the Catholic bishop, who himself, his own village has been displaced. There is enough information. And we expect that from this day forth, there'll be no more killings. I even dare say he should give himself a target and give his National Security Advisor and his heads of army security agents, both in and all these places here that they have security, Air Force is here and all sorts, and not just order, but let us see consequences for failure. That if there is one more successful attack, and if people are killed anymore, then those people should be relieved of duty and they should be investigated, because we do not understand. So it is, we expect that, we expect empathy. We expect also that he will work with the state governor and ensure that we have the right people in the right place. I mean, that's a lot to expect, but hey, he is the constituted authority. He has been collecting taxes. He gets all these accolades. Same thing with the governor. Let them put their money where their mouth is and let them lead and do their job.
All right.
Secure the people.
All right, videos have emerged that ahead of the president's arrival today, there was a directive for public holiday to be actually observed in Benue State. We've also seen videos emerging as well where people are told to clean the environment. I don't know if you've seen those footages, but let's see if we can put them on the screen in the course of me asking this question. There you go. And the residents in Benue State are wondering if this is the most important thing to be done ahead of the president's visit. It's much more like trying to paint a building that's gone through a complete collapse. And that's exactly what many have attributed to this action to. But let me come back to you. You've been in Benue State for some few hours now after the attack, and you see this as well taking place. How are the people reacting, especially to the governor's conscience towards what took place over the weekend? His body language, what does it tell the people currently? And that's my first question. My second question would be, can you also highlight this very key fact that nobody is talking about? I'd like you to please help us. We did hear that there were over 300 bikes or motorbikes that were used to attack the Yelewata community. How long will it take the assailants to ride their bike into that community and then spend 3 hours killing and then ride off again? Over 300 we hear. The timing, riding the bikes, the noise and so on and so forth. Can you help us paint this picture so we can really understand? But first, your reaction to the cleaning of the area ahead of the president's arrival, and then helping us break down the process of using over 300 bikes, motorbikes into the area, attack, kill, spend 3 hours, and then ride again.
So thank you. First, how are people reacting? How Nigerians have always reacted. We're just shaking our heads because this is unfortunately the character of very poor leadership, not just in Benue, across the country. You know, when we went to the IDP camp, I've been here anyway since Sunday. So, I mean, I rushed down from a meeting I was having somewhere. And we went to the IDP camp on Monday evening, the international market. And I called the SEMA official. You should have seen the camp. It was filthy. Papers everywhere, pure water sachets, and nothing. And I said to him, SEMA, what's your plan? Are we not supposed to be keeping this place clean? No dust screens, nothing. And they were like, hey, we're going to arrange the people. You see what I'm talking about? That's the quality of leadership you have. And I actually said to my colleagues on that evening that wait and see. When they hear governor is coming to visit the IDP camp, or maybe one big dignitary, they'll start rushing around and cleaning. I was talking about the IDP camp. That's our character as the leadership. That's what they've done. So the state usually trash everywhere. They don't clean. They don't do anything. They don't cut the grass. You saw them cutting the grass in the media. This is not their normal cleaning schedule. But because the president is coming, and because of the wrong-headedness of our leadership and the sycophancy and the eye service, right? They've started doing this. The people are absolutely, absolutely angry. They are absolutely just bewildered. And again, we're asking, Governor Alia, where do your loyalties lie? That's number one. Now, so we expect, I hope that they'll keep this up. So Governor Alia, please, if you're listening to me, kindly keep up this cleaning schedule so that your people can at least live in clean surroundings, not only when President Tinubu is coming. I do hope that our leaders, the President Tinubu and the like, will learn the art of actually showing up impromptu, sending their advanced team incognito, and showing up to see the real state. Because it's all across our countries. This is our state. That's what happens. You know, I also, I share my time between Benue and Lagos. Even in Lagos, when one of these dignitaries is coming, if you're passing from Lekki to Egbe Expressway, what happens? They'll clear out the beggars. You'll do the. We should stop this kind of pretend leadership, which is wrong. And that is why we need people of good character in leadership. But that's not the point. Now, second point, asking me, to be honest, that question around how long it takes 300 motorbikes, that is what I'm talking about, the investigation. So we all, of course, watch, when these bad things happen, our leaders tell us, hey, even in America, even in this place, they have this and they have that. No country is whatever, right? But we also see the way they go after terrorists. They see the way they investigate thoroughly, and we see the way they deal with things, and you see the way they value their lives. In this instance, we've not seen any security agency, not the DSS, not the National Security Advisor's Office, not the Chief of Army Staff, not the Chief of Defense Staff, or whoever has jurisdiction, not the police, by the way. We've not seen them deploy to investigate. We've not seen the Chief Commissioner of Police of Lagos State, of Benue State, coming to us on camera every day and telling us, this is what we have found out, or this is what we're doing. These are the investigations. They've stayed behind the scenes. We've not seen anything. Governor Alia has not come on television to address the people, to address his people, or even on radio. There's one speech that was being circulated. This is 5 days after Yelewata, where these are your citizens. So this tells you the character and the quality of leadership, right? And so when you're asking me about this over 300 motorbikes, again, the question arises. We watch all these things. Yeah, we may say they are fiction. We watch all these shows, crime shows. But we've seen how the American government went after Osama bin Laden and how they got him. And it took them how long? In Nigeria, everybody is disappearing. They'll just come and say all these things, smokes and mirrors, but we're not seeing action. So 300 motorbikes, where did they come from? They must have been from a neighboring state. Some of our development workers have indicated or have reported that they've gone to Nasarawa and that some of those killers hide in Nasarawa state. In fact, a development worker told me that they went to carry out some kind of assessment of a community in Nasarawa state, and she saw foreign people just lying somewhere, looking like they had been recruited to come in and do something. This is not far from Makurdi. She told me this thing last month. Now, they write reports, they make submissions to the government, federal, state. We have all kinds of reports. We have people like SBM Intel, we have people like Amnesty International, we have all of them writing reports, raising the alarm on the security situation, on the humanitarian situation. What is our response? The response of our government and agency is that we are trying to make them look bad in the sight of the international community, and that we're demarketing Nigeria. Are we for real? And we're saying, they'll come and say, you're trying to politicize the issue. You're the ones playing politics. You're the ones campaigning for 2027 instead of doing your job. So on the question of how 300 motorbikes, how did those bring those bikes coming? Who were they bought from? These guys had petrol cars. They were able to drive from wherever. What routes did they take? We've not seen any of that investigation. Yet, we have a commissioner of police. We have a state governor. We have a national security advisor. We have a chief. So we have a DSS who are able to go undercover. So what are they doing with the security reports? So these are some of the questions. So this question, this second question, we can say is a total failure of state, of governance, of our security agencies. And we're insisting as citizens who have given you this mandate to lead us, that you do your job, security agencies, and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you're the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Please kill this politicking for now. Let us first be alive before you can start doing your campaigns.
Yeah, I must say thank you for taking out the time to join us today. Ier Jonathan-Ichaver, she is the founder of Sesor Empowerment Foundation and Convener Middle Belt Concern. She joined us to give us a bit of insight following the scores that are dead and charred in Yelewata community in Guma local government area of Benue State. Ier, once again, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.